Balloons Day 2. Now we're going to show you how to assemble your balloon for the balloon assembly activity on Day 2. First thing you need to do, you have your balloon panels from yesterday, is you need to take these apart. By taking the wax paper off, and we'll save the wax paper. I'll show you what that's for later. And you just need to take these panels apart and set them out of your way. Take each piece of wax paper off. For demonstration purposes, let's speed up. Now, we're going to start to show you how to assemble your panels. Your panels need to set off to the side. For the process of assembling your panels, you need two pieces of your panels. One just laid on the table, the second one lay on top. And it's best if you match up the bottom and the top, if that will keep your balloon consistent. Now you would overlap your top panel and leave a 1-inch gap, having the underneath panel stick out an inch. Make sure the bottom is lined up neatly so your two pieces match up. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold carefully over. Now here I'd take the red panel and fold over the blue panel. Careful not to catch the blue panel underneath. You want to only fold the red panel. You work along the entire edge, and of course with your partner you both will be working and folding along as you worked up and down the panel's edge. And just do a very neat job. And you and your partner can work together, obviously, to help each other fold these. And you could each help glue. You get a glue bottle out, and hopefully your glue bottle's closed. And you need to glue and put just a fine, thin line of glue along your panel assembly. And you do that, you need to move quickly. And if you miss a spot, you just go back. This doesn't take very much glue. You just want to move along. If you put too much, you will run into problems because this glue will become there'll just be too much, it'll become a little messy. And if I miss a little bit, I can show you how we can use the wax paper and kind of make up for that mistake. It's important that when you do this, you have your top and your bottom lined up neatly. And if you did a good job cutting, that'll show. And so when you assemble these, after you've glued it, you just pat down your fold. It's not necessary to push really hard, just lightly give it a pat. What will happen sometimes is your overlap may not completely cover the glue. So what we can show you here is if you tear off a small piece of wax paper, because you don't want this glue to be exposed. If you cover it up with a piece of wax paper, then the third panel won't get stuck down to the first and second panel. So continue on, just patting down the glue. And then here's another example here, how the glue isn't placed just perfectly. And if it sticks out like it does here, you need to cover it with a piece of wax paper by simply just tearing off a small scrap from yesterday and tap it down, and just continue to pat your glue down for the rest of the panel. And that is the first two panels, but I have my remaining 5 panels. And you can grab it to the next panel. And again, I like to match up the cuts, make sure so that I know my two sides will match really nicely. And now I'm going to offset this one by an inch. And next thing I would do is then I just start the process over. Start folding this way, pre-fold. Then I would just continue on folding my third panel over the second panel. Then I would glue it like we did previously, and then pat down that panel, then get out my fourth panel, lining it up, and you can see how having a partner helps. And start folding the corners and begin gluing, and pat down the edges. Then get out your fifth panel and fold all the edges, and put your line of glue across and pat down your edges over the glued edge. Get out your last panel for the sixth and final panel. Fold all the edges. Put your light line of glue across over your 1-inch fold and begin patting it down. Now you should have now that we've got all 6 panels put together, it's time to do the last part, which is a little bit different from the rest. The way you do this is if you fold this top panel back out of the way, these inside panels, these two that are glued together, so we have to attach this panel to this panel. So the way it works is if you carefully roll this over, you don't need to do it real tight. Roll over like that, bring this panel over, and again you'd do the same process. Then what you do is you would fold all the edges just like you did on the previous 5 panels. When you're done folding, then you would glue with your thin line, and then you just simply pat down your edges like you've done before and finish up gluing. Make sure you put away your glue bottle, closing it, and you should still have a section of scraps that you want to save for tomorrow, day 3. And take your balloon, and when you're done with this, make sure you put it in the proper storage area